Just to briefly announce that the chanting books are not for distribution. They will all need to be returned. So once we exit this ceremony, all the chanting books could be returned to the table on the right where you got them from at the beginning of the retreat. Thank you.
We come to the closing minutes of our time together as this little collective that we've had, our 10-day voyage that we've undertaken, the good ship Spirit Rock. I often feel like when a retreat begins, we're sort of setting out from the dock in the meditation hall, and this is where we're coming back. The cliffs are in sight, and pulling into the harbour, and not quite. The gangplank is not quite down yet, but getting very close. So the last part of the event is for us to offer our blessings, but also for you to take this as an opportunity to cultivate. We've been cultivating blessings all week, but also share our blessings with each other. When we do the Paritta Chanting, Paritta means protection, so it's all in the Pali language. So some of you will understand some of it, but probably most of you won't understand most of it. But as Ajahn Sumedho would say, just take it from me, it's all the good things that human beings are capable of thinking of. It's all that good stuff, that's what it is. So the Paritta Chanting are various teachings of the Buddha, or qualities of the Triple Gem that we recite. And so the first part, as Ralph did the other day, it is an invitation to the Devas before his Dhamma talk. This is usually the way we start the Paritta, is to invite the Devas to come and bear witness, to lend their support to the event. And if you're allergic to Devas, you think, I got into Buddhism to get away from all that stuff. Yeah, no angels, gods, demons, but whether you are allergic, whether you are fond of the idea of devas and brahmas, dragons and friendly spirits, or you're allergic to them, you can think of it either as the forces of goodness from outside coming in, or the forces of brightness and goodness from inside coming out. So it's that quality of deva means brightness, radiance, and so forth. So if you don't like the idea, or you don't feel that's something that's valid for you in terms of other beings and other realms, it's inviting those forces of brightness from within your own heart to come to the surface and to bear witness and to be present for this occasion. So we'll start off with that, and then after that, then we'll offer a few final reflections from each of us in the teaching team, and then we'll have, following that, we'll have the opportunity for people to determine the 3 refuges and the 5 precepts for those who wish. Are you ready, Ralph? Not yet.
Would you join me in chanting a song of Om so we can get the attention of the turkeys and the hawks and everything out there to help us out? We need all the help we can get. Okay? Om. Samata Chikilawalasu Antraga Chantu Devata Sadama Muni Rajasa Sunatu Sagamukadam Sage Kami Charupe Giriti Taratati Chanti Leka Vamani Berata Degame Tuanega Hane Watami Gate Uma Jayantu Dewa Jalata Wisami Yaka Gandaba Naga Titante Sandikeyamuni Wachacham Sadomi Sunantu Buddha Sawana Kalo Ayambadanta Dhamma Sawana Kalo Ayambadanta Sangha Sawana Kalo
Namo tassa bhagavato
Arahato
sama
Sambuddhassa
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa Buddhaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi Dhammāṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi Saṅghāṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi Dutiyampi Dhammāṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi Dutiyampi Saṅghāṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi Tatiyampi Dhammāṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi Tatiyampi Saṅghāṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi yocakumamo hamalapagado sama wabuddho sugato vimuto maratsapasa vinnimo chayando bhape sikemang janata Win yang buddhaṃ varandang sirasa namami lokat sanatan cawin yakancha tande jasate jayasedi tusa bandaraya chavinasamendo dhammo dajoyo viyata sasatu dase silo katsa visuddhimangang niyanikoda madarat sandari sada Vaho santikaro suchinnota mangvarantang sirasa namami moha padalang upasandada hangdande jasate jayasiri Dusa bandaraya chavina samendu sadhammasena sugatanugoyolo katsa pubhakile sanjeta sando sayang sandini jasawakata dhammang veditang karoti sangang var Tang sirasa namami bodhanu bodhang samasil Teng dante jasate jayasiri hotu sabandara Chavina mendu asevana cha balanang panditana cha sevana puj Jambujaniyanang etamangalamu tamang bhatirupadesawaso jambum chakata punyatahata Panidicha hetamangalamu tamang bahusa chanjasi pancha vinayo chasusi kito subhasita chayawash Etamangalamutamang mata pitupa danang buddhadara sasangaho anakula shakamanda hetam galamutamang danan jadammacharya Chanyata sangaho anava jani kammani etamangal Tamangarati virati papa majapana chasanyamo apamado chadam Suetamangalamutamangara vochaniva tocha sanduti chakatanyata kale nadhammat savanang etamangalamu tamangkandi chaso vachasat Samanananjadasanang kalena dhammasaka chahetam Galamutamang tapocha brahmacharyan jahariyasa chanadasanang nibanasa chakiriya chahetamangala tamang putat saloka dhamme chit yatsanak Bhattiyaso kang virajanghe mang etamangala tamang etadisani katavana sabatamapara chitta sabata sotingacha titande sangma galamutamandi Karaniya mata kusalena yandang san Padang abhisame chasako hujo chasu acho chatsamutu anatimani sandhu sako chasubaro jahapakich Chasala hukavoti sandhin triyo cha nipako cha pangabo kule suananugido nachakudang sama chare kinchiye na vinyu pareyo bhavadai Sukino akemino tu sabbe sata bhav tu sukhitata ye ke chipana bhutantita savata varawa hanavase sadigawa ye mahanta Majimara Sakhanukatula Ditawa Chahadita Ye Chandure Vasandiya Vidure Bhutawa Sambhave Sivasa Bhavandu Sukhitata Naparo Parang Niko Betanatima Nyetakata Chinang Ginji Bayaro Sanapatiga Sanya Nanya Nyatsaduka Michayama Tayata Niyang Bhut Ayusahe kaputam manurake hewa pisababute sumana samba vayeya parimanang metanjasa balokasming manasambhave aparimanang udhammado chatiriyanjahasam Averang asapatang ditan jarang niseno sayano vayavata savigatamit etang saring aditaya brahmametang viharang itam uditin jahanupagam silvada sanena Panoka mesu vinaya gedang nahija tugamba sayang punar titiya dukkapata janinduka bayapat janibaya sokapata janiso Hondu sabe pipanino etawat Chaham he sambarang punyas parang sabe dewa numodandu sabha sambadisi diyadanang dadandu sa daya silang rakandu sambandaba vanabirat honduga chandu devata gata Sabe Buddha Balapat Pacheka Nanjayang Balang Arahanta Nanchate Chenara Kang Banda Misaba So Itipiso Bhagava Arahang Sambuddho Vicha Charana Samba No Sugato Loka Vidu Anutaro Purisa Dhammasarat Satta Deva Manu Sanang Buddho Bhagavati Savakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipasiko Panahik Pachatang vedita bovin iti supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho uju no bhagavato savaka sangho nyaya patipan bhagavato savaka sangho sahamichi pati Vato savaka sangho yadidang chatari purisa yuga niyata purisa bhukala sambhangavato savaka sangho ahunayo bhahunay Dakinayo anjali karaniyo anutarang punya ketang loka Satiya Mahakaruniko Nato Hitaya Sa Mambhani Nang Burritoa Bharamisa Bapato Sambodhimu Tamang Etena Sa Chawajena Hotute Jaya Mangalang Jaya Tobodiya mole sakyanang nandiwadanoe. Tawang vichayo ho hichaya sujaya mangale aparajita palange sis patavi bhokare abhiseke sababodhanang aga pato bamo tatisuna tang sumangalang supambatang suho titang sukano sumohoto chasuyitang brahmachari supada kinang kaya kamang vaja kamang bada kinang manokam Vanidite pada kina nikat Vanala bandade padakine.
That was the short version. I kid you not. I kid you not. So I would like to invite the fellow teachers to say a few words. Okay? Yeah.
So, how's that for sound? Okay? Up a little higher? Oh, me talk a little higher. All right, I can do that. I want to express my immense gratitude, first of all, for all of you being here and just holding this field of possibility and this field of incredible heart space. I don't know how else to say it. It's been remarkable to sense it and see it. And it takes a lot of courage, I think, to come on retreats. Some of you expressed that last night. And that was really lovely to hear what was going on for you. It's one of the aspects of Ajahn Amaro's retreats that I've always appreciated, is that we can give our voice and express what's gone on during the 10 days that we've been together. I moved to Berkeley about 9 years ago. I had a plan to move up towards Abhayagiri because Ajahn Amaro was there. And Ashan Pasano and, the rest of the wonderful monastics. And I had put the plan in place. I've been an East Coast person for my whole life. And then I hear, I've been asked to take over Amravati in London. I was like, oh, shoot, you ruined my retirement plans. Anyway, I moved here anyway and have gotten to gotten to know the wonderful people at Abhayagiri that are here now, especially Ajahn Nyaniko and Tan Hemiko and Tan Rakano, like really special new friends for me. I highly recommend you go there. But I live mostly in Berkeley. I do a lot of work online, just like most of us, even before COVID. But I do a lot of retreats. I do day-longs. I do a lot of 4-part series. Every year I do a 4-part series here at Spirit Rock for day-longs on a specific theme. I hold a lot of mentor groups and for another organization, but also I hold my own mentor groups. And the reason I want to share that with you is because I think my experience of going on retreats, starting decades ago, was that I'd do the retreat and I'd have my experiences on the retreat, and then I'd come home, and then it's like, oh, who can I talk to? Who can I share my experiences with? How do I continue the practice when I get home? Do I do this? Do I do that? Just a continuation of practice, formal practice at home, and also the informal practice of being in the larger world, the outside world. So I really like holding mentor groups and getting community together, having us get to know each other, be able to speak freely about things, and I appreciate talking about, for anybody calling me or scheduling time to talk about retreat. So all of this is on my website. I make myself as available as possible. I really enjoy being with Sangha. It's the most important thing to me in my life. So anything I can do to support you, I will do my best. And so there's information on my website, or for my website outside. And just know that there are so many seen and unseen beings supporting us all the time. And we just need to ask or make the intention to meet more, or find somebody, find a group, and be particularly careful when you leave retreat, because my experience is I am incredibly vulnerable right after a retreat, and typically I would not be able to talk to you if I had just sat a retreat. It's too much for me, too much excitement, too much activity. If you're feeling that way, you're not alone. And if you go home and you don't really want to talk too much, that's okay. So see if you can carve out, excuse me, a little bit of time for yourself, and ask for a little bit of consideration from those who you might live with. If you're going to work, maybe take breaks and go out in nature or sit in your car or something, but really don't expect that your body will just automatically adjust and change to the outside life without some tender, loving care and consideration. So it's a great way to take care of ourselves, really considering, well, what would be the best for me now? So at that, I will pass the mic along. Thank you very much.
When I was a monastic, going on Tudong, or arms round to get your meal, I never knew how far I was going to walk in the morning. And sometime it'd be 3 miles, 5 miles. Then there's the rain. And sometimes we'll go down the railroad tracks. And going down the railroad tracks is, all of a sudden, I'm not complaining about the sand or the rocky sand. It's just pure rocks. Pure rocks. And by the time I get back, I don't even have a feet anymore. It's gone. And one time there was either a full moon or new moon where we get to practice with the community. And the people who just are there, they just so love to practice. And that's what you remind me of. There's nothing turned me on more than that. It's people who love to practice. Not practice, but who love to practice. It makes all the difference in the world. It doesn't matter what aches and pains you go through, emotional or physical, eventually it levels off. As you have experienced, most of you, the intensity of it goes down. My information is out there in the hall, wanting to contact me. Going home. You want to see yourself as if you were sick, okay? Meaning take some vitamin C's. If you want to, take some echinacea golden seal for 2 or 4 days, because you're leaving an environment and you're going to a different environment, even if it's your home. It took me a while to figure that out back in the 70s and 80s when I used to practice retreat junkie. If you don't, you're going to get sick. And so this is helping your immune system to adjust to the outside world. And of course, the final piece is to pay attention. We are a very loving, kind community here. We cultivated that. Kindness, tenderness, respectfulness. Okay. I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico, so it's high desert where Santa Fe is. And I like to use the analogy of your nice cat, nice, beautiful cat, male or female, doesn't matter. You let it go outside and you haven't trained it yet. And it takes a few steps and it's snack for a coyote. Okay. It's the same thing out there. Okay? All right? Yeah. You get it. That's right. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Yeah. Pay attention. Yeah.
So, end of retreat, and not all the books were put out initially, so it was a bit of a scramble, a few of us putting out the box loads of books that we had brought for the end of this retreat, and one of the books that we had to scramble to put out was, I believe it's called Clarity and Calm for Busy People. So that's a good book to read, and that I would. And then there's also a new Ajahn Amaro book. What was it called? It just got brought over by Nan and Jed. Anyway, it's out there as well. It's not Catastrophe Apostrophe. It's a newer one. Yes, and it's Passing His Peace. And it's Passing His Peace. That's a booklet that we have many of out there as well. And there's also another book which I've personally found inspiring, which we have quite a few out there, and I do highly recommend it if you haven't read it, and it's the biography of Meichi Gao. And that one is very well done. It's very well done, and for anybody who is wanting to devote their life to practice, that's a really great book. It's a really great book. And one of my favorite parts in that book is when Meichi Gao is giving a teaching. And so she's, just briefly, she was a student of Ajahn Mun and also of later of Ajahn Mahabua. And Ajahn Mun recognized her when she was a little girl. She actually met Ajahn Mun when he was on Tudong with a few of his close disciples, so way back. And Ajahn Mun didn't want her to practice just yet. He said, "You have a very powerful mind, but wait until later in your life, and then you can practice." And he he gave her his personal head shaving razor. I said, keep this until that time. So she was very, very special, and he recognized her parami. And later on, she did ordain as a white-robed nun, what we call mechi in Thailand. And anyway, she has a teaching, which I quite appreciate. She talks about how we just go about every day and to look at the kind of rituals we have. So, many of us, especially in America, we may not be into chanting or bowing or all that stuff. May see that as kind of antithetical to the practice. But we do our own rituals. We may even not bow as a ritual. That's a ritual as well. Not chanting as a ritual, not bowing as a ritual. Those are also rituals. It's just the other side of the ritual. So anything we ritualistically do, this is a quality known as Silabhata Paramasa. If by chanting and bowing we think that in itself will enlighten us, that's Silabhata Paramasa, that's attachment to rites and rituals. If by not chanting and by not bowing we think that's going to enlighten us, that's also Silabhata Paramasa. That's also attachment to rites and rituals, just taken a different form. So she talks about we all have these rites and rituals that we've developed through our lives, and when we go to sleep, it's kind of gets cleaned out a bit, gets a bit cleaned out of the mind, and then when we wake up in the morning, we rebuild our world, and we fan the smoldering embers of our life. We get up in the morning and we fan the smoldering embers of our life, and that's our morning puja. That's the real morning puja that we're doing every morning. So the reason we do all these monastic practices, and the whole reason for a monastic retreat, is to try to curb those habits and tendencies from the unwholesome to the wholesome. That's the whole reason we do these types of things, do these practices, do this drone on and on and on with the chanting in the morning and in the evening, is just to develop a different ritual, a more wholesome ritual than the one we've been doing for so long already. So I think that's good to point out, good to recognize as we end the retreat, as we go back to our respective lives, just to notice what types of rituals do we have in place? What types of rituals do we do? Where do we go? Where does the mind go every morning, every afternoon, every evening? Because those are rituals as well. And just to recognize it and take stock of it. Is it helping me? Is it to my benefit or is it to my detriment? And just taking a look. So I just want to say sadhu, anumodana. Sadhu is the Buddhist version of amen. And maybe that's not the best translation. But, it also means it is well. And also a senior monk who's a patron of ours, Longpor Mahaprasert in Fremont, he actually translates sadhu as for life, for life. So we want to develop these wholesome things for life. And anumodana, delighting in the goodness that's done. So thank you for your practice. Thank you for doing what you do with the practice, and for just being here and putting forth effort. And it helps us as well. And it's heartening for us as well, for the teachers. So we'll just say sadhu, 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 and leave it at that.
I echo the words of my fellow teachers here, that to really appreciate the evening offerings that people they dropped into the space on those who were silent and didn't speak. That mixture of expression and silence, I think, is a good symbol for our lives. Sometimes we engage, sometimes we restrain, and that mixture of attuning to the present, seeing what's appropriate, and then either jumping in and acting or leaving things alone is, I think, a good recipe for living our lives, finding our way. Also greatly appreciated everyone's sincere efforts during this week, and the heat. It's a little cooler today, but I think we can all remember it was a real cooker this week. Someone said they live in northern Arizona, and Marin was hotter. Living in England, where if it gets to 80 degrees, it makes the newspaper headlines. I'm not joking. It's like, whoa, what a scorcher. So congratulations and well done, everyone really working very diligently to deal with the weather, and also our minds as they go through their various transformations. It was very touching, very moving to hear people speaking yesterday evening about the different journeys that you've all made on this ship that we've been aboard. One of the things we talk about, people, the retreat ending and people going our own ways, but one of the points I made during this week, I think, was that we're always here. Wherever we are, it's always absolutely here. So in a way, we don't go through the world comes through us. And we are always absolutely here. The geography might change, the backdrop might change, but we are always absolutely here, and the world comes through our being, through our hearts, through our minds. And in those moments where we can appreciate that, then along with the flow, the movement of the world, the kind of transformation of color and sound and thought and feeling, emotion and activities, responsibilities, then there's that great stillness. The biography of Luang Por Chah, I'm not sure if there's copies out there on the table, but his very large biography is called Stillness Flowing, which represents exactly that principle of the flow of the world, the flow of perceptions and thoughts and feelings, but that is all occurring within the space of stillness. It's always here. It can't go anywhere else. Home is where the heart is. Your heart is where that great home of reality is always. It's always there. It's always here. It can't be anywhere else. So as the backdrop changes and the bodies move around and go to their different locations, I should be getting on a plane tomorrow afternoon to go to England. Ajahn Nyaniko should be going to Boston on the red eye tonight. So bodies will be moving around, but even though that's the case in terms of the conditioned world, the more that the heart can be established in this awake, aware quality of knowing the Vijja Dhatu, then there's always this great stillness, the great spaciousness and ease that all of that movement and color takes shape within. So we have had a delightful time together, and the closing pieces of our ceremonies are the opportunity to determine the refuges and precepts. I was going to release you from noble silence now, but it sounds as though noble speech has been installed already. I was planning to leave it until this time, but my powers of discernment have not been stretched to notice that there's a certain amount of conversation going on already. So I don't know what's the norm for Spirit Rock or what you were told. But anyway, I was thinking to install noble speech at this point rather than earlier on in the day. But it's all good, as they say. And so please, anyway, you can legally speak now. I'm happy to grant you to the degree I can grant anything, I grant you the legal conversations with each other. And also you can consider yourself released from the 8 precepts. Supper is now legal as well. And so, but those who would like to determine the 3 refuges and the 5 precepts, then you'll find the words for the 126 in the dark brown chanting books. Yes, but not yet. Yeah. So we'll those who are familiar with making the request can do that together with a good voice. Paul, I see you lining up. So if you want to stride forth with a strong voice, and then there's others can join in. It's the Mayang Bante Titsaranena Saha Pancha Silani Yachama. So I will repeat the Namo Tassa 3 times, and after I finish the 3rd time, those of you who'd like to join in with us, then you repeat it 3 times after I have finished. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tisarana gamanang nititang. Panati pata Verapmani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. I undertake the precept to refrain from taking the life of any living creature. Adinadana Verapmani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. I undertake the precept to refrain from taking that which is not given. Kamesu michachara Verapmani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. I undertake the precept to refrain from sexual misconduct.
musavada, veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. I undertake the precept to refrain from lying. Sura meraya majappamadatana, veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Yeah, that fifth one is tricky. I undertake the precept to refrain from consuming intoxicating drink and drugs which lead to carelessness. Imani pancha sikkhapadani silena sugating yanti silena bhoga sampada silena nibbutting yanti tasama silang visodaye. I would also like to express my appreciation for the many and various Spirit Rock people, Lauren and Amy and Aaron and Anne and Mark and a large list of different folks who helped to bring this all together. The cooks, the cooking team. I know many of you have been chopping vegetables. There's great love and skill has gone into feeding us all, nourishing us this time. So the cooking team, the maintenance team, the turkeys, the blue-tailed skinks, everybody living here at the Spirit Rock, maintaining this wonderful environment. It's not a small thing to make a ship like this run and to help for it to run smoothly. So sadhu anumodana to everyone who's helped to bring this together. Also particularly for Sally and Guy, Sally Armstrong, Guy Armstrong, who were the ones who invited me to come and lead this retreat at this time. It was their initiative. So they also deserve a credit for helping this occasion to have happened. And Beth Hamlin, who is doubling up with two hats as a retreatant. There she is. And also helping to organize everything. So being part of the staff here. So Mary, you'd like to say a few things? Also, just to say another appreciation for Mary, who helped to back Jill up on the movement, the movement world. That's it. That greatly appreciated their contributions and diminishing the aches and pains and increasing fluidity in various dimensions.
Oh, thank you.
Please, go ahead.
I just wanted to put in a plug for the monastic retreat because it's such a precious, precious time. And I know there are many, many retreats here, but there aren't many monastic retreats. And I feel that over the years, I think there were more. And I know if I hadn't been invited, I probably wouldn't have been able to get onto this retreat because it would be very popular. I know at IMS there were like 90 on the wait list when they closed it. There are a lot of people who want to come to be on the monastic retreats, but also this possibility of dana, doing a retreat at a time when I have many students, colleagues who, when I mention the word Spirit Rock, they say, oh, that's too expensive for me. And I know Spirit Rock has worked very hard to try and give scholarships and help people to come. But it's still, for many of us, it's a huge thing. And dana works in strange ways. I just want to mention, just before I came here, I was with Therese Smith, who came with me on a yoga teacher training program, Ajahn Amaro and Ajahn Pasana were very kind and would let us come up to the monastery as part of our teacher training and ask questions. I mean, it was an incredible evening. But I did actually have to push some of these yogis up the hill because they said, "You mean we have to sit for 45 minutes and we have to chant and we can't wear our skimpy outfits?" And it's like, yeah, that's right. And one of those people was Therese Smith, and she, recently we were talking about the fact that she was reluctant to go up there, and then it became very much a part of her life. And then a friend of hers, an older woman, wanted to pass her house on to a noble cause, and she met the monks on Tudong, and it reminded her of this incredible monastic path. And now I believe she contacted me and said, "Do you think they'd be interested in having this house?" And I said, "Well, you could always ask." And I believe there's a branch monastery being established up in Humboldt County. So I feel like these interconnections and relationships are extremely important, and not to let the divide between this kind of institution and the monastics to sort of fade. And we need to keep it glued together. And people like Ralph and Jill have developed long relationships with the monastic Sally and Guy, and these relationships, visiting the monastery, reading the books, going to special days up at the monastery, is so important, because these monastics live a life that we're not leading, and as they've all said, being around that energy is incredibly powerful. So those of you who teach here or who are involved in Spirit Rock or in any of these organizations, please keep the thread going. Please keep drawing these guys back. As complicated as it can be, it's so powerful, and we don't know how the magic weaves its way through the rest of our lives. And I also want to thank all the support, the substrata, because having a little glimmer into what the substrata is behind on these retreats, it's very impressive what goes on behind the scenes. So thank you, all the managers and all the people who've run around and made things happen.
So the next part of our closing pieces, there's a tradition, a custom, for those who've been part of a ceremony or an event, if you would like to have a reminder, to have a blessing cord tied around your wrist, or if you're a medical person, you can't have things tied on your wrists. We do ankles. Yeah, at a stretch, but so it's not obligatory, of course. But if anyone would like to have a blessing cord to be tied on as a reminder of this event, and the custom is to leave it on until it falls off naturally. These are quite substantial ones. These will last a long time, and so it's like a kind of a handcuff to the Buddha. You know, so the sound of one hand cuffing. You know, so the single handcuff to the Buddha. So, and it's just when you want a reminder, there was the speech about the sustaining that connection and carrying things on in having reminders and connecting with other people in groups, and then this is another little way of reminding oneself. So those of you who nothing, again, not obligatory in any way, shape or form, but anyone who'd like a blessing cord, you can come up to either one of us four. We've all got a little supply here, and so please do come up if you wish. Before we have the very, very final thing, yes, our bicycle pilgrimage advert. booster for the Buddhist bicycle pilgrimage.
Hello, everyone. And another great way to connect between Spirit Rock and Abhayagiri is with the Buddhist bicycle pilgrimage. This is our 26th year of doing this. Started with just some people wanting to see what they could do on a long-distance ride, and it's grown from there. It's all Dana-based, so it's all volunteer. It's open to everyone. We have volunteer positions. We have riding positions. Starts here at Spirit Rock, and then we go up through Sonoma County, and then we go through Marin County. We go through Marin County, Sonoma County, and then Mendocino County as well. So it's about 84 miles the first day, and the second day is about 50 miles, and you can do any part of it. So some people just do one section. So what we do is we visit different locations along the way. We're going to visit a small Zen monastery and Zen center in Grayton, California, a little beautiful town in Sonoma County. And then we're also going to be stopping on the second day at City of 10,000 Buddhas, which is an amazing place. It was founded by Master Hua, thank you, who donated the land that Abhayagiri resides on. And so it's a great connection there. And of course, we end up at Abhayagiri as well. So the group that puts this together is called Dharma Wheels with an R. So dharmawheels.org is the website. So dharmawheels.org. And as I said, you can volunteer, you can ride sections of it. We're very open to that. If you have any questions, I'll be here afterwards. Also, John Varsky is also on the board as well if you have any questions about that. But it's a really wonderful group of people. We cap at about 100, and last I knew, before I came on the retreat, we had 60, so it's just a great number. So if you'd like to join us for that. Also, we do community rides once a month. And the next one is a week from today on the 21st, and that will be posted on that same website, dharmawheels.org. Hope you'll join us. Thank you.
Just one more thing about the Buddhist bicycle pilgrimage, that this year's theme is mudita. So they've been doing the 4 Brahma Viharas. So it's you'll be able to contemplate that theme as well. And also that John Ungwarsky, as well as being on the board of Dharma Wheels, is also helps organize the first Tuesday of every month. We do teachings. A senior monk from Abhayagiri will go down and do teachings at Berkeley Buddhist Monastery Institute of World Religions, which is a City of 10,000 Buddhas branch in Berkeley, and you can find that on our website. And also we do offer that a teaching on the first Tuesday of each month online as well, which you can check our website for the online Zoom information. We haven't done that the last couple of months, but that'll be started again in August for the online version. So yeah, those are some things that are happening. And also, I did forget to mention that we have a lot of blue-tailed skinks out of Abhayagiri as well. So they're not that rare. Actually, they're very common.
The final aspect of our blessing, for those who like sprinkling, this is part of our custom. Usually we have a long thread that comes from the Buddha image around the bowl of water and then around the whole group. But we've done a sort of abbreviated version this time. But we have the water, we have the sprinkler created by, was it Lauren or?
It was like
5 different people contributed to the sprinkler. So anyone who'd like to have a final little blessing, then cluster up close at the front, and then we can sprinkle you with lustral waters and offer our final blessing. And that will be the last goodbye.
And after this, the final thing is there'll be a group photo for anybody who's interested. Yeah.
Anybody would like any extra cords for family, friends, relatives, pets? Please help yourselves.
There's also cord scraps on our seats if you want smaller pieces. And chanting books can be returned to the table you got them from at the beginning of the retreat. So if all the gold and brown chanting books could be please returned, thank you very much.